Hey everybody, it is a privilege of mine to introduce you to Kevin Bentley. Now, Kevin and I met at a Beacon staff meeting because apparently Ryan Powers is his personal golf pro. I think they met on the golf course, and Ryan discovered, well, this guy, he's a former NFLer. And Kevin, when I looked you up, and I'm only going to do this briefly, but you were drafted in 2002, fourth round. You played for the Browns, the Texans, the Seahawks. Did you have a stint with the Jaguars?
Yeah, so I split my last season. My 10th season was split between the Jaguars and Indianapolis.
And the Colts, yeah. And then
Yeah,
you retired in 2011, and Wikipedia has you down for 415 tackles.
no idea.
And it says that was all in one game. Now, I didn't think that was right.
that
But here's what I love. Here's what I highlighted. 2 interceptions, and I think I know that one of them was a pick six against my man, Peyton Manning. Is that right?
yeah, it's interesting. My second year in Cleveland, I was a full-time starter, and we were down at the goal line. He ran a play-action pass, and I had seen the play on tape a few times. And I'm not as tall as some of the other linebackers, so he lost sight of me, and I popped out instead of playing the run, and he threw it right to me. And then fast forward to my last season, I played in Indy with him. I had my wife ship me the ball so he could sign it for me.
So, all right, the world may not know this, but what did he say? What did he say to you when he signed the ball?
It's funny because he stood up on a chair in the locker room and called like a council meeting. It's like, hear ye. Should I sign this ball? He's asking all the teammates. But the funny thing about it is he remembered everything about the play. He remembered the score. And he was like, you want me to sign the ball, but y'all lost 9-6. I was like, yeah, but you're a Hall of Famer. I can tell my kids someday that I picked off Peyton Manning.
That's great. I mean, that's really, really good. What a 10-year career in the NFL, that's amazing. How did that, like most guys don't get 10 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I first got into the league, my linebacker coach at the time asked me, how long you want to play, son? And I said about 3 years, 3 or 4 years maybe, and then I'll move on. I'll get my MBA. I'll start a business or something. And he goes, that's it? That's not very long. I know the career average is short, but like you probably could play a lot longer. And then it was funny because in my 8th year, we chatted. He goes, what happened to 4 years? I was like, I don't know. It went so fast, and I just was having so much fun and continuing to enjoy the game. So I just worked hard at it.
Yeah.
I've seen guys come and go that were much more talented, bigger, faster, stronger, but they weren't willing to put in the time and the effort, the energy to understand the nuances and the intricacies of the game and the game plan. And that's where I thrived. I really knew our game plan in and out. I could tell guys where they needed to be along with doing my own job. And that helped for me to have a longer career.
That's awesome. You know what impressed me the most? I mean, you said a lot of great things when you came to Beacon and spoke to our staff, but you said that if I were to go to your house, you don't have jerseys and footballs and trophies everywhere, but you just sent me a text that had 3 pictures of you graduating with a master's from Northwestern. So I think I know what's pretty important in your mind.
Definitely. I had an opportunity to go to big football schools coming out of high school, and I went to Northwestern primarily because of the academics. The football team was not as good at that time, but we turned it around, won a couple of Big Ten titles, but it was academics. My top 3 choices were Berkeley, Stanford, and Northwestern, if that says anything about how I value education. When I retired from the NFL, I took a year off and went and got my MBA from Rice. I was a full-time student for 2 years, started in the corporate world, started my own company, and then went back to Northwestern, got a master's in technology.
That's so good. Congratulations. I mean, that's really the 10 years in the NFL. That's pretty cool. But man, that's even extra. That's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's the things I highlight, right? If you went to my house, you literally would not see any memorabilia, but you will see my degrees. You'll see my kids' trophies and stuff like that, but you'll also see their schoolwork. Yeah. Because I want them to understand at the end of the day, education is always going to be your path forward. Whether you can't play anymore, you're physically unable, as long as your brain works, you can continue to impact the world and make a difference.
Yeah, and you're proving, Kevin, like it's continual education. It's not I got my degree 30 years ago, but it's like continual.
Yeah, it's definitely continual. My thought process is the day we stop learning is the day we cease to exist.
Yeah.
Right? Every day you're learning something new, or you should be. You should encounter someone that has something new to offer you. And if you listen more than you speak, more times than not, you're going to learn a nugget or two out of each day that you can carry forward.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, I want to, just in our brief time that we have, I want to look at three areas. Your ticket out of LA, it's a tremendous story. And then
Yep.
your two big your areas that you focus on are discipline and selflessness. And I want to talk about that related to caregivers. But tell the ticket out story.
Yeah, so growing up, I grew up one of nine, and grew up playing basketball primarily, watching the Lakers, the Magic Johnson era, and got to high school, and I didn't know what I was going to do until basketball came around. So my buddy was like, why don't you come play football with us? So I did. Who knew I was going to be good at it, thrive, and excelled at it? And then I saw it as my ticket out. I knew education was going to be the path forward, but we couldn't afford college. And so it just really, football became a means to an end. And I was like, if I can just earn a scholarship and get out of this environment I'm in, maybe I have an opportunity to thrive and do great things. And so fast forward, I got offers in my junior year and senior year. And then when they realized the type of student I was a straight A student all through high school, AP classes, went to college with college credit already. But I saw that as my ticket out. And then sports was just that vehicle to help me get there, because I knew I couldn't afford college. And so that's literally how I got to that point. Once I got to Northwestern, I was pretty comfortable. I said, okay, I earned a scholarship. I'll do my 4 years. I'll get a great education, and I'll go do something great in the business world. Just so happened I continue to get to thrive in football and get better and better. And so it was an opportunity for me to continue to play, but education has always been that foundation and my ticket out.
But you told our team you don't see yourself, or you didn't see yourself as like, the greatest athlete, the biggest athlete, the fastest athlete. So talk about that thing of discipline that got you to the NFL and kept you there for 10 years.
Yeah, and I reiterate this all the time. I was never the fastest, the biggest, the strongest, the best athlete, but I was willing to outwork anyone to achieve the things I needed to, whether it was studying all night because I didn't understand an accounting formula in my grad school program, or studying a playbook to make sure I was as best I could be in that situation. And it all came down to discipline, right? Doing the things that other people either don't want to do or are not willing to do. And it's those little things, making sure you don't leave any stone unturned, making sure you understand the nuances so that you can make informed decisions. But discipline is at the heart and foundation of everything I do. And it is something I instill in my kids as well. I still get up at 5 a.m. and train as if I'm going to play a game. Now, in this case, it's just to protect my daughters from knuckleheads when they get older. But but the discipline, everyone's like, oh, I'm so motivated. And I think that one of the quotes or things I talked about when I visited was, at the beginning of the year, everyone sets all these lofty goals, right? They're going to lose weight. They're going to get their health back. They're going to do X, Y, Z in their careers. And that motivation is fleeting. And motivation usually lasts about 2 to 3 days max. And that's when discipline has to take over. The quote I kind of live by is, you will always never be motivated. You must learn to be disciplined.
Yeah.
When you look at the greats in the world, it's discipline. You look at a Kobe Bryant, a Tom Brady, a Michael Jordan, they will all talk about the discipline they had to continue to perform at that level.
Yeah, that's good. Now let's look at your other area that I thought you spoke very eloquently about, but that's that selflessness. And there, you told us a story coming out of Seattle with the team there and what happened and how you employed selflessness. Can you tell that story and then why that's so important?
Yeah, so when I went to Seattle, we drafted in 2005. We drafted two other linebackers that year, and I was brought in to be a starter, or at least compete to be a starter. And very early on, I realized that these two gentlemen were going to be much better than I ever could be on the field per se. They were athletic, they could run, they were bigger, faster. And so I went to the coach and said, hey, I know this is out of the ordinary or you don't hear these things often, but I think this guy should start over me and I would love to be able to mentor them. And my coach was like, are you insane? That puts you one step closer to the door and out of a job. I was like, yeah, I get it, but it's about the team. You guys are constructing the defense to try and win a championship. We already had a top 5 offense in the country, in NFL, and the defense suffered the year before. And so we were brought in to revamp the defense. And I saw this opportunity to mentor these two young guys, and we became a top 5 defense, Super Bowl, and both guys made the Pro Bowl. And I don't say that to beat my chest. I say that to, hey, I realize greatness and I realize where my value and my worth is. And I was able to coach these guys up. They listened and trusted me and performed tremendously, even making all pro honors. And they still call me to this day, hey, my kid's doing this, or I'm thinking about this investment. What are your thoughts on it? That just goes to show you when you're selfless and you show people you actually genuinely care about them and their success, there's endless possibilities for that person, but also for yourself. And the reason I say that is because even though I gave up my starting position to mentor these two young guys, fast forward to my 10th year, I was ready to retire. And the GM from Indy called my agent and goes, hey, we just picked Kevin up. We would like him to come in and be a part of the team. And I told my agent, I'm not coming. You have the GM call me, and I'm going to tell him personally that I'm not coming. I was in Whole Foods. And the GM calls me. He goes, hey, we just picked your contract up. We'd love to come in. Said, hey, I'm not really interested. I'm pretty much done. I'm going to, go off into the sunset with my family, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, no, we're not going to play you. Did you think you're coming in to play? We just want you to come in and mentor our young linebackers. And so because I was selfless early on, it came back full circle, and teams started recognizing that my ability to bring the best out in people. And they brought me in literally to mentor the team. It was amazing opportunity to go in and help some of the younger guys like Pat Anger become all pro and stuff like that. But when you're selfless, I believe it wholeheartedly, the man upstairs is going to bless you. But the challenge is, especially in corporate, is it's like crabs in a barrel. Everyone wants to step on each other to try to get to the top. Instead of uplifting people to the top and hoping and knowing that because you're lifting others up, you'll rise with them.
Yeah. So was there an age when you hit that, that idea of mentoring? Because, for a long time or half of our lives, we go after success. And then we hit this thing that says, no, I want significance. So when you saw that path of selflessness, was that early on, or was there a certain age where you hit that?
No, I think it was early on. So I've been a leader on pretty much all my teams growing up, high school, college, voted team captain in NFL. So other guys saw the worth. But I'll tell you a story that I didn't share with you guys from high school. We had some, back in those days, the coaching was pretty horrific in terms of how they treated you, the language they used. And I stood up for our team. I actually had to miss a game. I got suspended for one game for quote unquote leading a revolt because the guys were coming to me like, hey, I don't like the way coach is treating me. I don't like the way he's talking to me. And I went to the coaches and said, hey, we are not practicing today. Until you treat us like young men and speak to us with respect, we're not going to practice. And sure enough, they changed their tune. They stopped cussing us out, stopped using such vulgar language and treating us like crap. I had to miss a game because of that. But the long-term impact on our team was awesome because we did make it to the championship game, but we became closer as a unit.
Yeah.
And if it meant me missing a game and having to explain to college coaches why I missed the game, I was willing to jump on that sword so my brothers wouldn't have to suffer.
It's good. It's good. Love it, man. Discipline, selflessness, and the fact that you were in Whole Foods when the Colts called you. So if I see somebody, I mean, now I know if I see somebody on the phone in Whole Foods, it could be the Colts that are trying to recruit them, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
All right. Hey, last thing, and I'll let you go. I want you to talk. So Kevin, we work with caregivers, nurses, RNs, LPNs, CNAs. And, you know, the context here is they're like mechanics who never work on their own car, right?
Yep.
They're very passionate about what they do, but man, it can be exhausting. It can be tiring. They're so needed. So many these days are quitting. So put everything, discipline, selflessness. I want you to just encourage our caregivers. Like, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them? How would you encourage them?
The first thing I would say is don't give up because we need them. My sister is actually a caregiver. She does in-home care and nursing home. And my second sister is the lead chef for 3 caregiving places in Ohio. And I know firsthand the impact they make, right? And I believe the caregivers are like first responders. They are very much needed. I know it's a tireless job. I know it doesn't come with a lot of notoriety. I kind of equate it to the linemen in football, right? Those guys, the big uglies up front, don't get a lot of credit, but we couldn't do what we do without those guys. And I would advise them or recommend they continue to fight the good fight. It may not pay off in terms of dollars. It may not pay off in terms of, I'm a star and everyone knows who I am. But the bigger picture there is the impact they're having on those individuals' lives, right? Yeah. Whether it's health related, whether it's, oh my God, I can't wait till my caregiver comes and spends 30 minutes with me today because no one else even comes and talks to me, right? Those little nuggets and the smiles that they leave on the people that they touch is priceless. And the amount of value and stuff they're adding to those individuals' lives can't be measured in any amount of success or money. And they have to find gratitude in that. And I know the times get tough and I know it's hard sometimes, but it's needed. And the sad part about today's society is we become such a me society that no one puts the other person first. And in this case, the caregivers are usually working with older people that either don't have family members, they've lost their spouse, and they might just need someone to talk to. And our caregivers provide that for them, right? And so I take my hat off to you guys. I really do a tremendous job of helping people. And at the end of the day, if we all help one person, we'll be a much better society.
Man, can I, I'm a pastor. Can I say amen to that? Like a mic drop or something. Hey, I'm going to let you go. Where are you right now?
I'm in Orlando at my daughter's volleyball tournament, AAU volleyball tournament.
Well, thanks for continuing to make a difference and taking time out for us. Let's go grab Ryan Powers and get a golf lesson soon, okay?
Yeah, tell him he owes me big time.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, listen, I'll see you. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Bye.